So it's very clear that pet care today has become as mainstream as it can get. Right today, almost in every high street, almost in every shopping mall, we have a pet store, some kind of a pet spa, which we couldn't imagine a decade back. Right, I think Amazon is having some kind of a pet day on May 13th, 14th. So I read up some numbers that say that the global pet care market is around $200 billion, and India is about 3.5. So though India may seem like a nascent market compared to the global market, there is no doubt that it is a fast-growing space. So in that context, let me first, let me ask the panelists, so what's really driving the pet care boom? And how are Gen Z and Millennials driving this surge? Sneh, first.
Thank you for the introduction for the pet industry. So as our panel is titled, so Gen Zs and Millennials are the driving forces in our pet industry. Mostly, so pet parents who are millennials are more aware and more involved in pet parenting. And that is the reason why it is giving opportunity to brands like us to innovate. So earlier, especially in India, pet food was not something people would buy. So they were feeding dogs what they were cooking for themselves. But now, after millennials have become pet parents, they have started to look for nutrition. So they are reading labels. They are caring for their pets and their dogs as we would care for our kids. And that is the reason pet brands have now started focusing more on cleaner labels. And a lot of bigger companies are now jumping into pet industry. So the major driving force, I'd say, is the smaller, the size of the family is becoming smaller. People are getting more educated. Western countries have started to innovate a lot, and that is what is coming to India now. So that has given a huge room for brands like us to innovate and evolve.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Just to call out, this Gen Z and Millennial is the one who has actually brought a big change in the pet food industry, which I can tell you with full number. Because the number of pet parents which has increased in 2024 versus 2023, the 70% of people are completely the Gen Zs and Millennials. So clearly, I think the major chunk where the new pet parents are coming is from Gen Zs and Millennials. That's one. And the good part is that in the 70% are the first-time pet parents. So clearly, they've clearly started seeing that these pets are going to be one among their family. They're emotionally bonded, they're emotionally connected. And the good part about Gen Zs and your millennials is that they're very much socially connected. They're very good at Googling. So they know the trends very well. So it's a clear welcome move that Gen Zs and the millennials are coming inside this category. And they will actually take this category to a new level altogether. That's for sure.
Akshat?
So in addition to this, for Gen Z in particular, the traditional milestones, I mean, getting married, having kids, that also is something which now is not the first priority. We get a lot of customers, in our experience centers. And for them, having pet is, the first experience that they want to, have. And also what has changed, which is true for both millennials and Gen Z, that pets are part of the family now. I mean, earlier it was not 100% true, but now if you go to any part of the country, pets are part of the family. Their birthdays are celebrated. People have pets but choose not to have kids. So we have a very interesting target segment which is called Singhs and Dings, right? Single income, no kids; double income, no kids. I am one of them. So that also is a very, very big driver. And I mean, I think with the fact that people are having awareness increasing about how to, enhance the life of their pets. They want to spend more, they want to learn more, and they want to have long lives for their pets. So yeah, I mean that is also another very big factor.
Sure. And though we all grew up knowing the fact that dogs love meat, I think many of the dogs are 100% vegetarian dogs. So I would request Sneh to talk about how she's making some delicious veg-only foods for dogs.
Yeah, so Dogsee is primarily a vegetarian company. So we make Himalayan yak chews. It is made from yak and cow milk, and we make them in the Himalayas. So when we started Dogsee, we were very sure that if we are making something for the animal, we will not kill another animal for to make that treat. So we zeroed down on this product, which is cruelty free. It is 60% protein. It has high calcium, and it is the only alternate to rawhide. And rawhide is a huge category in majority of the countries. Just in US, it is $5 billion plus industry. And rawhide is nothing but a byproduct of leather and meat industry. It is not healthy, it is poisonous, and there is no need for a pet parent to feed something of this nutritional profile to the pet. So we were clear that we want to be healthy, and we knew that pet parents, because they are evolving and they are demanding for premium and human grade products. So we knew that maybe it will take some time for us to arrive, but eventually our product will be successful. So now 10 years into the business, and we are seeing the change. More and more pet parents in different countries, so we export to 30 plus countries. More and more pet parents, they demand brands to be transparent. They are looking for alternate sources of protein, and they are looking for cruelty-free alternatives for treats and as well as food. So I think this is a perfect place to be in, and we were fortunate to take that step, and we are just 10 years into it, and there is a huge way, there is a long way for us to go, and we'll keep on innovating, and we are sure that we'll always be vegetarian as a
great.
brand.
Nice. Chidambaram, since Allana Group is into, it's into multiple products, right? So do you also have any such veg-only products? And also, can you talk about the specific areas within pet care that are most profitable?
Sure. There are two questions what you asked. One is Allana looking to come inside veg. Yeah. Of course, it's something which is very unique, and people wanted it, and there are person who has tried it and who has proven that there is a market for it, and it's not so far away. If there is a need, we will adapt faster. The good part about Allana is that the entire manufacturing is completely held by Allana themselves. They don't go for a third party, or they don't go for import. Everything is manufactured by Allana, owned by Allana. So if the need is there, I think there is not even 1 minute of think process. We will actually get into it. But as of now, in India, there are multiple things that is there. Example, today, only your 8% of food what is being consumed in pet industry is your organized one that we are talking about, which is your kibbles or your wet food. Balance 92% is actually done by the home food, where they cook and then give it to them. So clearly there are more opportunity within the existing product itself. That's my first point. Probably veg, pure veg or only veg is another option that we can think of, but it is still a long way to go. When there is a need, we will get into it. That's the first answer. The second one, coming to profitability, again, I just want to reiterate, today if you say the numbers might vary, I'm just throwing some numbers to you. There are 34 million pets we are talking about, which is in an organized one, where 28 million is close to dog and close to 6 million is cat. So still, the people who's consuming the organized or the kibble form food is very lesser. So still there is a big opportunity that we're talking about, that we need to really look into it. The second one, from a profitable point of view, it varies from an organization to organization because there are multiple factors which decides the margin and profitability. Example, if my volumes are going to be very high, I can work with a smaller profitability. If my sourcing is going to be completely done by me, I will save a better cost. And there are multiple factors which decides this profitability as well as the margin. But if you ask me overall from the pet food industry, probably there are certain sectors where it has a better profitability, which is more to do with, say, the accessories what we put for a dog or a cat has a better margin and a profitability. Followed by that, there is something segment called care and treat, where the per unit price that I get on the volume will look very profitable. So that is the way any company will work like. So just to directly answer your question, the care treat industry has a better profitability versus the volume consumption. The second one, there are accessories that we talk about, which we use on a dog chain or a cat or a cosmetics or whatever it is, that tend to have a better margin when compared to the food industry, what we're talking about. So that's my answer.
Akshat.
So on the vegetarian food, I think it has very well been captured. But we sell the product as well, and Zigly takes proud in the fact that we are an ecosystem where vets are also, driving, the overall awareness about how to take care of the pet and their well-being. So if you'll ask a vet at Zigly, they will say that it is very oxymoronish that the descendant of wolves, which are dogs, we are, making them eat vegetarian because we like vegetarian. But at the same time, we respect the preferences, and with the fact that lot many brands are doing vegetarian, lot many people who earlier were not able to, adopt a dog or a cat or, have pets because of their, personal beliefs or religious beliefs, now they are able to do that. So I think that's a very, positive thing which has happened for the industry and for the pet parents as well. In terms of the second part, which is the profitability aspect, I think, when we say ecosystem, essentially as a pet parent, you need products and you need services. Products is you need food, you need accessories. It already was mentioned that treats and accessories is a very healthy margin category. In addition to that, services also are very profitable. Vet care services, there's a certain cost, and you sell at a certain MRP, so naturally that is very healthy. Grooming services, if you talk about in India, there is a tad limitation and there is scarcity of quality grooming services as well. Right. So there are people who are doing grooming in 200 rupees as well. There are people who are doing in 2,500 rupees as well. Yeah. We come somewhere in between. So that also is something which is very healthy. People are ready and people are willing to pay premium for quality grooming services. They want cruelty-free products to be used. They want organic products to be used. So these differentiated categories such as organic food, unique ingredients coming in which are hypoallergenic, which are natural. That also is a very interesting category coming up very nicely.
Sure, thank you. Sneh, coming back to you, since I believe you deal with exports, right? So can you just share your story about what are the markets that you are targeting, and why not India? And also, how has the recent Trump tariffs impacted your exports?
So when we started, so it was not an organic decision. So we first targeted India, but soon realized, because our treat is a specialty nutritional treat, it is slightly expensive. And we, very early on in our journey, we saw and we realized that India is still at its very early stage in pet adoption. And Western countries like US, UK, they are very evolved. And people that time itself were looking for premiumization in treats, like I mentioned earlier. And somehow we got an opportunity to start exporting. So like any entrepreneur, we jumped onto that opportunity. And then there was no looking back, because there were more doors that were getting opened and more demand that was happening. So we focused only on then manufacturing. And that's how it happened. And the reason which, apart from the stage of pet industry, it is also the income, the disposable income of Indians versus, a Western family. If you just compare how much money a family in US spends on pet care versus in India, the gap is huge. And India has a long way to still catch up. And that's why we thought that, export is a better option for us to survive. But India is not at all, not in our plans. So we are still present in India. And it might take time, but how it is evolving is beautiful. It is growing really fast. And maybe in next 10 years, India will be the market for all the international brands as well.
You think Trump is helping you?
No, he has made our lives difficult. So at least we have 90 days of halt right now. But with that announcement, there were a lot of emails coming in, a lot of phone calls coming in from our importers from US that they wanted to rethink prices. So they were already negotiating with us. And a lot of them had decided that they will obviously pass the extra burden to the customer. And a lot of people, so India directly competes in our category of pet treats, we compete with Nepal. So it was a direct hit on Indian manufacturers of pet treats because people will obviously, reroute their volume from other country. So we are a lot of companies in our network, they are rethinking, re-strategizing. A lot of them are opening their companies in US and then the transfer pricing will kick in. So the plan is on. Some of our partners in the US, they are still hopeful that it will go off, the tariff will go off. So it is just wait and watch game for us so far.
Chidambaram, if you can give a sense of the domestic versus international markets at Allana Group. I mean, where do you see the demand and what is your focus areas?
With Allana, I think Allana is always known for exports. Their major export business happens in everything: meat, spices, you name it, including the pulp, the frozen juices. So they have multiple things which they export. In pet food, we started off with domestic business, which we have our own plant in Zagirabad, which manufactures for India. So clearly our focus is on domestic. And on the exports, we have already started looking at differential markets, both on the dry food as well as on the premium food on dry, plus the wet ranges. So clearly export is a second important thing that we are really focusing on the pet food industry. And we want to really go for all the countries that we are already doing export. How can we really partner and then take this bundle also to the export markets? So that's already in the plan.
And in India, what is the potential to enter tier 2, tier 3 markets? Do we have a market there or is it still very small?
See, let me start with some figures. In India, pet food industry, 70% of business happens in 50 cities. This is the pet food industry data that I'm talking about. All pet food business that I'm talking about. Rest of the business contributes only 30% of the business. This is the first hit number. Today, before even looking at whether I can service tier 2 or tier 3, we should also understand what is important is the channel dynamics. Today, in your metro cities, you have multiple channels to service the need. And number 2, in metro, the population of dog, it can be easily compared. For every 10 household, you will have one dog, for sure. For every 10 household, you will find one cat. This is very clearly coming out in a big way. Now, if you go to the tier 2, tier 3 town, for every 20 to 25 household, you will find one dog or a cat. That's the ratio that is currently. Second, today the channel dynamics is so different in India that it is very difficult to really give the right product to the right set of breeds or the life stage what we're talking about. So today in metros, your pet shop channel is adding a big thing, and even your e-com sector is adding a big thing, because when I go inside an e-com platform, I will be able to see very clearly what is the A+ content, what I should really use. There are many things that becomes as a direction, as a pet parent, which is not the case in tier 2, tier 3 town. But I strongly believe the potential will increase in the future. as more number of pet parents are going to come and then grow in the industry. So automatically the expansion will happen. Today, if you ask me, do we not have tier 2, tier 3 city? We have. But mostly it is catered by e-com, followed by very small shops in certain vicinities that we're talking about.
Got it.
That's the way I'm looking into it.
Sure. Akshat?
So I think there are two aspects to it from our standpoint. One is that in case of tier 2 and tier 3 cities, products can be ordered from anywhere, but services is something which you will not find in quality. If you will go to a typical tier 3 city or a tier 2 city, even in a lot of cases, the most common example of going to a vet will be government vet or a vet hospital or a clinic, where the vet probably will be sitting for half an hour, and if your dog is not well, you will have to wait for 24 hours to vet to come. And things like spa and grooming are not which everyone has experienced. So I mean, by experience, we have opened around 30% of our stores in tier 2 cities as of now. The growth of a experience center for us in a tier 2 city is 2x than that of a metro or a tier 1 city. I think that takes me to the second point, that at a certain point there will be a saturation coming in. There are a lot of regional players, there are a lot of mom and pop shops and players which also are operating, and then there are a lot of corporate bagged people which have now started coming in. So with that, tier 2 and tier 3 is really important. It cannot be forgone. And the other thing is, which is true in retail in general parlance as well, is that people are looking for experiences, and people go to retail for experiences only these days. So essentially, if you are a player which is able to give that experience at a price which is affordable in case of tier 3 cities, then it doesn't matter. I mean, ultimately people will be happy buying products and services as well. So we are trying to find a balance of what is the right price. Of course, there are different tiers that we also follow based on the tiering. So it is kind of working well, but a lot of long way to go.
Just to add on to the point, there is also a study that we came across recently, is that in a tier 2, tier 3 city, the affordability becomes very difficult, because average dry kibble food per kg will cost you 200 to 250 in India, versus a rice costing you just 50 rupees. So any pet parent, I think it's a thought for everybody, including a manufacturer like us, saying that how can I really make that affordability much more clearer for them to really think that food and this food is different, and my dog needs this, my cat needs this, versus what I need. Today, what they think, the same 1 kg, I can cook a rice, put something as a gravy and then give it to them. It's only going to cost them 50 or 60 rupees. Versus buying a kibble food is going to be 200 to 250 rupees. So I think that affordability becomes very important. The channel dynamics becomes very important. And when the pet parent growths are going to improve equal to metro, nothing like that.
While I don't have a dog or a cat as of now, I used to have it back home in Shillong. Now because in apartments it's really hard. So instead of that, I have 3 aquariums in my home. One of the needs that I feel is when I go out of home for 2 weeks or so, or even a week, you need to feed the fish. And for that, I have purchased the technology, a tech-based feeder that every day the food automatically falls and all. So that's really helpful. So in that context, I would like to ask, what is the scope for pet tech? What is the scope and what is the opportunity in India and globally from you, and then others can share.
The pet industry overall is so new, and so much innovation is possible in India. So pet tech obviously has a huge scope, but it will come only once the basis for pet care and pet food is covered. Because companies will start focusing on pet tech once they see that the industry is big enough for that kind of investment. But if we specifically talk about where in technology innovation can happen, for example, in US, Chewy.com is huge. It is as big as Amazon in terms of sales. We don't have a specialty pet care e-commerce platform in India. In Germany, there is Zooplus. So in various countries, there are specialty technology platforms only for pet industry. So in terms of tech, India still has that gap. A lot of people are trying, but the scale is still not there. Tracking devices, healthcare tech, these are all open areas right now in pet care. But I think it will only come once we guys first, establish ourselves, cover the basics, right? Roti, kapda, makan. So that will come only after that.